So, Inyan Hakadeshim Shabbat. This is the idea of the Kaddish that we do in the davening, because we're talking about over here that we want to bring down the Shmei Rabbo Mevorach, and that helps. How do we do that? By, we're talking about before, by Bitla Yesh, but that's by bringing up and saying the Kaddish. Sheheim lahalois ha'olamis. The Kaddish elevates, brings up the lower worlds to the higher worlds. It brings up from Asiya to Yitzira, and then to Bria, and then to Atzilus. Kemoi, as example, Eitzel Hoidu. When we say the Kaddish by Hoidu, that is the Rabbanon Kaddish over there, is Bein Asiya li Yitzira. That is in between Asiya and Yitzira. Up till Hoidu is the level of Asiya. And then when you come over to Hoidu, then you're going to come to the level of Yitzira. And then you make Asiya Kaddish. So Ben Asiya li Yitzira Emrim Kaddish. Shabazah Kaddish onumaylim ho Asiya li Yitzira. So with that Kaddish, what you're doing is you're elevating the Asiya into Yitzira. It's Chaim Shom Perik Aleph, as it says in it's Chaim there Perik Aleph. And that's what it accomplishes. So why do we need to have this Kaddish to elevate it? Why is that necessary? V'hainu ki efsher liyos Aliyah Sha'ilamais, Asili Yitzira, because it's impossible to be the elevation, Sila Yitzira, Ella Al Yidei Hamshocha Tchilam Yitzira Ba'asiyah. First, we have to bring down from Yitzira into Asiyah, so that Asiyah is able to bring up and go up to a Yitzira. So you need to first bring down from Yitzira Ba'asiyah. V'hamshocha, how do we bring down from Yitzira to Asiyah, so then Asiyah can go up to Yitzira? While Yidei Omen Yehesh Merabo. That is from Yehesh Merabo. Shenimshach Eirin Sov Shebi Yitzira Chulu. That you draw down, it's drawn down the Yitzov in Yitzira. Shezau Inyam Ananei Ereshi. So that's Mananei Ereshi. What do we say? If you say Omen Yehesh Merabo, then Hashem is Mananei Ereshi. What does it mean, Mananei Ereshi? By every Kaddish. Here is talking about the Kaddish between Siya and Yitzira. So by that Kaddish, the Eresh Mananei Ereshi, he moves them. In other words, he's Mamshich through the Omen Yehesh Merabo. We say Omen Yehesh Merabo because to be Mamshich. And then we can elevate through the Kadeshim the Asiya into Yitzira and so on. We learned before, what causes the Hamshocha is the level of Bitl Hayesh. That causes the Hamshocha. So it turns out, it's not so much saying, Omen Yesh Merabo. Why am I saying Omen Yesh Merabo? In order to bring down. But the Nanu Aroish seems it's not connected to Dafke saying something. It's more connected to the level of emotional to be mevatel the yesh, the bitla yesh. Hagam sheikar hamshocha zudu nanu harosh. Well, idea lo asman. It comes mainly to another kriya Shema, Shema Yisrael. Well, Shema Yisrael. And we said that Hashem Elokeinu Hashem Echad. And we said, what is Yisrael? Kumeshikosu, Kumeshikosu, ki im Yisrael Yeshemecha. His name is Yisrael Kisarisa im Elikim. So that means Shema Yisrael, that it comes through Yisrael, through Sarisa Elikim. What does it mean that you battled with Elikim? You battled with the Simtsum, with the Yesh, and you made a Bitla Yesh. They bechinas Bitla Yesh, through the level of Bitla Yesh, Zo Inyan Kisarisa Elikim. That is Sarisa Elikim. So that makes you the level of Yisrael, Bechinas Li Rosh, that you become a Li Rosh and you're Mamshech de Hamshocha. So, why are we saying now to Omen Yesh Rabbo? We still have to express it in our mouth, and we have to say, let the great name, which is we talked about before, the level of the great name, the level of Keser, and the higher levels in Keser, Atik. So you have to say, verbalize it, Yehei Shmei Rabim Varachulu, in order to bring down the level of Li Rosh, the level of Li Rosh. We can further understand the interpretation and the idea of Li Rosh. Based on what it's called, written over there, that Kol Mokim Shenemar Li Einezos Le'ilom, where the Posik says Li, Yisim Li Le'ilom, Li, it is forever. I mean, that's to me, that stays forever. Here we're saying Yisrael is also the idea of Li forever. Over there it says also Li. The Ritzoyna Leimar, that it means to say, the Vishainian Li is Reimas Lebchinas Mos Vatzmuse. The word Li mean to me is a pointing, it's hinting to Mos Vatzmuse, the essence of Hashem. And Lebchinas Atik, this level of Atik, Shaboy Daikin Nemer Lo Shanisi. It's Dafke by Atik, that's over there, there's no change, because there's no Kiles Smola Bahayatika. There's no left, so there's no tzimtzum. So everything, that is Li. That's the level of Musatz Musa. That's the level of Ati. So Pirush Li Roish. This is the meaning of Li Roish, to become Li Roish. Shehem Bechinas uMadrega Yoinazu de Bechinas Galgalto uMoichos Timo Darich Ampin Mamesh. That they become Li Roish in the level of Galgalto and Meichas Timo, the level of Keser and Meichas Timo of Aracham Mamish. Shalamayla Mayla Mebchirazo, which is higher than Zo. You have the level of Galgalto inside level of Zo, Metzach de Zo. But here we're talking about in the level even of Keser. Zo Inyan. And this is the idea of Alish and Nasai Beguf. This is the elevation that becomes through the descent of the Neshama and the Guf. Because in the beginning, we're Liroish from the level of Zodatzilus. But through the descent in the Neshama and the body, we go up to the Liroish, to the level of Arichampid, level of Liroish in the level of Keser, Gagalta, Mechistimo. As we said, I mentioned earlier, is Bechinas Yisrael Liroish, that in order to be in the level of Yisrael Liroish, who are Yidei Kisarisa, that is only when you have the battle, Sarisa Imalikim, when you battle the Bitla Yesh Davki. And when is the Sarisa? That's in Elam Hazeh, that's in the Shama Beguf, where there is struggles, and that makes the level to the higher level of Lirosh. So look what's Shmois. So here we're talking about, there's two levels. There's one level of Lirosh, which is the level of the Midas of Atzilus, so the Atzilus, the Keser or the Rosh of Atzilus. And then there's another level, which is level in Arichampin, Meichus Timo, the Galgalta, and the Meichus Timo. And this is also, he's going to explain now the two levels from the level of Yaakov. It says in the Pasuk of the Shmois, Yesh Beis Aliyas, Bechinas Yaakov. Aleph is Bechinas Yisrael Zuta, the lower level of Yisrael. That's Liroish, the lower level. That would be the level of Atzilus. Habei is Bechinas Yisrael Sova, the older Yisrael, which is the higher level. So yesh lefarish inyan beis aliyas elu. So we can explain the two aliyas. Ha'alef is bebchinas galgalto moicha de zo. One of them is the galgalto and the moicha of zo. Shenikra Yisrael zuto. That's called Yisrael zuto. Of nikra bebchinas zugam ki liresh. This is also called liresh, even though it's only in zo atzilus. Because Zo is united and hangs on Atika. Number one. Another reason, from the level of the forehead and above of Zo, that's the level of Loy Odom from that point on. So that's also another reason why it's called Liresh. And there's another reason that it's called Liresh, Begam. Kilif Omim, sometimes sometimes Zo is elevated until he gets stuck at the Keser from Marichampin. Va'atik yoyim mamish, from Marichampin mamish. Kimivur, B'inyan Chag HaShavuos. L'chein gam b'china Zo nikla Liresh. So that's why Zo is called Liresh. Ochan Aliyah, Ashniya Shiyah Losid, but Aliyah, secondly, was going to be the future. Hainu begalgalto meichus timo darachampi. That's going to be the Aliyah in the galgalto meichus timo darachampi. Zo Liresh mamish. That's the second. That's the Liresh. That's Yisrael Sova. Evshaloimar Shaliyah Zuzo in Yisrael Sova. That is Levi Sova. Like his Sova, who bechinas Atik Yoimim. Sova is the level of Atik Yoimim. Aliyah. Atik Yoimim means removed from days, an old, long time ago, ancient. Atik Yoimim. That's the level of Sova, the grandfather. It's like the old. Aliyah Zu al derech mashakos b'sefer HaGilgulim. So Parsha Yudzayin, Perik Yudzayin, Shoya Oilam, Tzilus Oila ad Odom Kadmen Chulo Aisha. We can say Shlochein Nemer Loi Beis Pomim Yisrael Yishmecha. Yaakov was told twice, two times, because there's two levels of Yisrael. Aleph, he was told by the Amalach, Vayishlach Lamed Beis Chavtes, he told him that his name. And Beis, the second time, he told him that was through HaKadosh Baruch Hu Chayda B'atzmei. Hashem himself also told him again a second time. Ba'ayim HaShekosu B'Pirush Kol Ezrach B'Yisrael Yesh B'Sukkah D'Uramas Chavai Li B'Yisrael Kol Zen Nimshach Al Yidei Kisariso. All this comes through the level of Kisariso, the level of Bitl HaYesh, Kol Shekosu B'Shom HaPosuk Mizmar Shom HaPosuk V'Eile Shmois Shaliyas Eilu Nimshachim Al Yidei Arida Tchila B'Bchinas Golos Mitzrayim. These elevations come through the descent first in level of Mitzrayim. And then through the elevation of Mitzrayim, then we get these aliyahs. Gimel. So now these amshochas are hidden. And in the future they will be revealed. And this is what the pasuk says: Ani Hashem Elokeichem Asher Eitzeisim Eretz Eschem Eretz Mitzrayim Lislachem Lelikim. It's going to say that after Eitzeisi Eschem Eretz Mitzrayim Lislachem Lelikim, then the Hashem will become Elokeichem. Ani Hashem will become Elokeichem. In the future, the level of Hashem will become a Elokeichem. After Hashem takes us out of Eretz Mitzrayim. In other words, after we have this elevation and we go up to the higher dargit, the higher level, so this, which before was the higher level, was the level of Hashem, is going to become the Elokim, is going to become. It brings down from the other Mamer, Pirush. Derech Mashakosu B'Shavti B'Sholem. Says Yaakov was saying, when I return in peace, I'll base Avi. So then, what does it mean? So it says like this. Shatzilus nikra Havaya. Right now, we're talking about Havaya and Elikim. What is Havaya? Havaya is Atzilus, and Malchus is Elikim, because all the Yesh starts from the Malchus. But in Atzilus itself is the Shem Havaya, Yud Kei Vav Kei, which is level of Bitl. So Atzilus Nikra Havaya, it's called Havaya, because you have the Yud and the Chochmah, the letter Yud, and the Hey, level Hey is in Bina. And then you have a Koitze Shel Yud is Keser. So that's the level of Yud Kei. And Elikim, Ubichinas Malchus. Why? Sheikir is Havas Hayesh, V'dover Nifrat Legamri, which is the name of Elikim, he Malchus Atzilus. It's a Malchus Atzilus. That Yesh, V'zo, in Yeshem Elikim. Hamaylim Liyesh is Havas Hayesh V'nifrat. That obstructs, that obscures, that there should be the creation of Yesh Nifrat. Shehena Nivroim, the Biyah, those are the creations of Biyah, Bri Yitzir Asira, Malachim and Shabbos. As the Apostle says, Kishem and Shemogan Havaya Elikim. The Shem Elikim Umogan Benartik L'Shem Havaya Shemaster. That the Shem Elikim becomes a shield and a seed for the Shem Havaya, which the Shem Elikim hides. That is the curtain that interrupts between Atzilus and Bria. That's the Tzimtzum, that's the Elikim. So that's the level of creation of the Yesh. Mashenki Batzilus. As opposed to Tzil Sheshoma B'chinas Giloy is Sabaruch. There is a revelation of Sabaruch. V'nikra Atzilus. And we call it Atzilus Havaya. Why do we call Atzilus Havaya? V'nikra Atzilus Havaya. Atzilus is called Havaya because Loshen is Havas in a language of creation. Al Shem HaHashpoes Mekesa L'Chochma Mechochma Libina. Based on the flow that things come from Keser to Chochma and from Chochma to Bina, the Koitzer Shel Yud, the Yud and the Hey, which is Meichen the Abba, Meichen the Ema. Hakoel Mechinas Giloir, everything is revelation of Oir. Elikim is the level of Tzimtzum, obscuring the light, and Havaya is Atzilus giving the light, Hashposar. So what does it mean? What does it mean Havaya will become to be for Elikim? And that in the future this Havaya is Nachshel K'ma Elikim. That would be counted like Elikim. So the Shem Havaya Atzilus will be like Elikim. Why? Because there will be revealed the level of the Ein Sof, which is higher Atzilus. As the Pasuk says, Ad Yaver Amcha Havaya. Your people, they will pass over Havaya. Now there will be a revelation beyond Havaya. Ein Sof that's higher than Atzilus, which is Havaya. V'ayim Hashekosu, Pasuk Azinu Hashemayim. B'chinas Shmoy HaGodol. That's going to be the great name, not the name Havaya. It'll be the great name, which is higher than Havaya. When this level is revealed, the Shem HaGodol, Shem Havaya Kelikim Choshuv L'gabe Gilot Mazeh. So that the Shem Havaya will be considered like a Tzimtzum, like a Elikim, relative to that powerful revelation. I'm Ashakos of Biur Apostle Shuvi Yisrael, Divrei Hamaschil Isha Mishas Chasidim Sechashiva. So Pirush this meaning. Ni Hashem Elikechem. Asher Etzeisi Es Chameretz Mitzrayim Liyos Lachem Leilikim. That I am Hashem Elikechem. Take us to listen to Lachem Shayidei Yitzias Mitzrayim Yiyah Gilu Zeh. That when you go out of Mitzrayim, you leave even the Mitzorim, I guess, from the Shem Havaya, then At Shavaya Kelikim Choshuv, that will be Hashem Kelikim Choshu. It's a little bit surprising. Talking about the Shem Havaya, and you're saying that Shem Havaya is Mitzrayim. It's still a limitation. And we have to go out from that limitation as well to reach to the Shema HaGodl, even higher than Shem Havaya. So he says, Ki Yitzis Mitzrayim, Yesh Lebekam Madreges. There are various Madreges of Yitzis Mitzrayim. The first one is going from Bi'at to Atzilus, which is Bittul HaYesh L'Hayim. That's the subjugation of the Yesh L'Hayim. Batzilus Gamkin Shayich. We're going to see Yitzis Mitzrayim, but in Atzilus, it also applies the level of Yitzis Mitzrayim. Even in Atzilus, we can say Yitzis Mitzrayim. Why? Because it's still boundaries. It's still limitations over there. And that's why V'nikra Midos, we call them Midos in Atzil. What is Midos? Midos means measure. Midas HaChesed, it's called Midos, a measure. That's a level of a measure, a limitation, a boundary. So that means that even in Atzilus, it's still limited. Had the chesed been without any limit, there would be no punishment for this shushoim. Since the oiris in Atzilus are dressed out in the kelim, they limit. Therefore, there is a meitzer up to here. It says over there that Reish Lamed Vov Alofi Prevovis Parsos Ushir Koima. What is the measure of a koima, of a story? Is 36,000 times 10,000. But it's still a measure. It's huge, but it's still a measure. This is the level of Kelim Datzilus. Shem Bechinas Gvul B'Tachlis. I'm Begeres HaKodesh Maskli V'Choyim Shem Eitz Chaim. But the above Atzilus, there is no limitation. So there has to be Yitzias Mitzrayim, even from these limitations. The main place where there is limitations, boundaries. This is in the world of Tikkun. Because over there, where there's a fewer lights and there's a lot of kelim. But in the level of toyu, over there, the iris are more than the kelim. But in toyu, there is still kelim. It's iris merubim, but it's still kelim. They have more light, but there's still kelim. That's totally higher than kelim. Over there doesn't apply at all any limitations, any boundaries. And therefore, when there's an elevation from Atzilus to higher than Atzilus, Nikra Gamki Yitzis Mitzrayim, that's also called Yitzis Mitzrayim. So we wondered, so finally, we discussed, we've shown that that's also a level of Yitzis Mitzrayim. Over there it says, the Lakach, for this reason, until you go up to Yardin Yereche, the last mass of the 42 masos, Nikra Kol Yitzis Mitzrayim is Eile Masim and Yisroel Mitzrayim. You're still going out of Mitzrayim because all the 42 masos, there is still that level of limitation. Only when you come to Yerichai, Yerichai u'bechinas Reach begodov, bechinas makifim shalamaylo bechinas kelim ve'er primi. That is the level of Reach begodov, the smell. The smell is a makif. That's higher than the kelim and primi. And therefore, up till that level, Nikra Adayin Yitzias Mitzrayim. It's still called Yitzias Mitzrayim. Nimshachai the birur nefesh habahamis. So all this comes through the birur of the nefesh habahamis. Sun is in there, it comes through there. Shasharsha me'olam hatoyu, which is rooted in the olam hatoyu. Shasham ha'oiris me'rubim. Over there is more oiris. So gamke, this is also the idea. Sheitzias Mitzrayim yesh gam betzadikim chulu. That also by tzadikim we have this level of Yitzias Mitzrayim. Afilu Moshe Rabbeinu olav hashalom. She'oile gila atzilus mamish. That he had the mamish, the level of atzilus by him. It also applied to him every day. Yitzias Mitzrayim. Well, why? Because still, even atzilus is limitation. But it's still midas. To make this more clear, to understand, make this more understandable. How is there so many levels in Yitzias Mitzrayim? In a Mizbayer al Posik b'Midbar Sinai, be'echad ha'chodesh hasheni b'shona hasheni l'tzeisav me'eretz Mitzrayim, the l'chodesh hasheni. Maybe open it up so we'll have the whole thing. It won't.
It's already pended. How about that?
Yeah. Okay. So yeah, it's better. I think it's coming right through there. Right there. You see here. But look, I'm showing you. You see, there's a crack in there. Right there. Yeah, right there. Oh.
How about that?
Yeah. Better. Yeah, this is better. Much better. So he says, the Lachodesh Hasheni, v'chein l'shona hashenis. So he says, Chodesh Hasheni, Shona Hashenis. It's saying the Loimar, shetzorich liyas b'chinas shenis mitzias Mitzrayim. It's the second year, second month. You have to be a second. You have to go repeat the Hainu. Achar sheyiyasur meragomer b'tachlis. Once the person totally is staying away from Ra. Then you can come to the Midbar Sinai, which is Shu Inyan, say Sanefesh, Menartiko, the Bushanega Chulu Einshom. So first you got to start off by removing Surmera totally. And then you can start coming to the level of Midbar Sinai. But these two Yitzias Mitzrayim, that's not yet those two levels of the level of Surmera. Yitzias Mitzrayim is higher than this Surmera. This is another two levels. We're talking about Meviyala Atzilus Matzilus L'Biyah, this bittul. So this is even higher than the Chodesh Hasheni, than the second that we said before. After the nefesh goes out from the levusha noiga, shayich b'chinas Yitzias Mitzrayim, Mibiyala Atzilus, then it applies the level of Yitzias Mitzrayim from Biyah to Atzilus. So you first, what does it mean in the person's avodah after the surmera? You have to go out of Yitzias Mitzrayim by benefesh. Kibiyahu b'chinas avo v'yira. What is bri yitzira sira? What does it mean to go out? To go out means to go out from your limitations, even of your level of ava. Kibiyah, to go out of level of love and fear of Hashem, even go beyond that. Because when you love, means you're still a Metzias that you love. We want to go the union of Bitl Hayesh, means that you're Batli, there's no you anymore. Is an entity I love. that is higher than level of Ava. Ukmoy inyan hayishtachavo d'shmoina esre, like shtachavo d'shmoina esre, when we bow down, it's no love, no fear, it's no me. You're on the floor. You're butler. That's higher than Kriya Shema. By the Kriya Shema is the level of Ava V'yira. That's limited. But then we have the level of Amida that follows the Shema, of this level of Tzachavo. In a B'chinas Bittul Gamkin, yes. There are two. In the level of Bittul, we have these two Madregas in the level of Bittul. Yes, derech klal beis madregas. One on top of the other one. You have the level of bitl hayesh, and then you have a bitl amiti, the chokhmah ilah, and the higher level of true bitl of chokhmah ilah. As written elsewhere, being in Shabbos tatov, Shabbos ilah, the lower level of Shabbos and the higher level of Shabbos. Shehem beis b'chinas bitl now. They are the two levels of bitl. Bitla yesh bitl mitzis. There is a yesh gamkin hefresh. Main yichud bitla midis da atzilus. There's also a difference between the yichud and the bitl of the midis atzil shenikru iyu v'garmoyi chad. They're called iyu v'garmoyi. It's bitl. He's one with the garmoyi, but it's not the same. The bitl the chokhmah ilah to the bitl of chokhmah ilah shenikru iyu v'chayoyi chad. That's called iyu v'chayoyi. So derech ze yuvan in Yetziris Mitzrayim to Moshe. So now we understand why Moshe Rabbeinu also had to go out of Mitzrayim. Shoya boy gilu b'chinas atzilus. He had the gilu of atzilus, but still, Ava became you tzorich lisi Yetziris Mitzrayim b'chinas Yetziris Mitzrayim b'chol yoyim. They still needed to go out of Mitzrayim every day. Dainu ha'ali el b'chinas bitul ha'amiti the chokhmah ilah mamish. He has to go up to the bittul, true bittul of chokhmah ilah. Of Chokhmah Atzilus, not just Atzilus, not the Bittul Hayesh of the Midas of Atzilus, but going up all to Chokhmah Atzilus to the level of Iyu V'chayoyi, not Iyu V'garmoyi, but Iyu V'chayoyi. Eid yesh lebayri in Yizal derech mashkos mokom acher be'inyan. It says Dom Moichel Ledo. This becomes like the Moichin, V'do Klipa Ledo. So while it's a level of moichin, it's also klipa. Shemchinas avo diuchayecha. So when you love Hashem, that means that contemplation, that love of Hashem, becomes the moichin, the push, the drive, the reason for the ava is imayesh moicha. So we'd say. It's a moicha. In other words, it's a level of intellect. But yet we say, im kol ze nikra klipa. So when we say Vavta, it's still called klipa. Legabe avos b'chol meidecha b'ligvul. Relative to the ava b'chol meidecha, which is b'ligvul, it's called the klipa. Because that's not an ultimate love, because it's still uchayecha, it's your mitzias over there involved. Al Parshas B'Kodesh Eitzim, Shebchinas Zu Nikro Adayim B'Gemara. In the Gemara we call this Man She'nat Meisim She'en Reisim She'en Shalmokim. This is still not called doing the will of Hashem. The level of Shema Yisrael V'Hafto, the V'Hoyim Shemoya, where it's no B'Chol Ma'idecha, it's not doing the will of Hashem. It's still a klippa. Why? Because it's Huchayecha. B'Chinas Eisim B'Tzein Shalmokim. What is the level of Eisim B'Tzein Shalmokim? So B'Chinas B'Chol Ma'idecha. That's like in the first parsha of Kriya Shema, in which is B'Chol Ma'idecha. B'Chinas Ma'idecha, and within Ma'idecha itself, Yesh Madregis and Kates is endless amount of levels. Shema Sheitzel Zeh Nikra Ma'idecha, because what by one person it's called Ma'idecha Lefi Shul Ma'ilem HaKeli Shaloi, because it's above his Keli. In Elegabe B'Chinas Tzadik Godel Yoser. So when you measure it next to a greater Tzadik, next to Avdayin B'Chinas Gevul, it's considered still limitation next to a greater Tzadik. Lefi Erech HaKeli Shaloi, His keli is wider. Is even higher. So that's why we say very high. It's very much higher. Just like we're talking here about the level of Ava, the same thing is true with a bittul. Kibitl debia nikra yesh v'sigim. The bittul of Yah is still called a yesh and sigin imperfections. Like a bittul that atzilus relative to atzilus. V'chein al derech zeh b'atzilus atzmei. And the same thing is in atzilus itself. All right, we'll leave it over here. Even though we have a little bit more, but.